Hut 8 Mining has secured up to $50 million in loans from Coinbase Credit to fund its operations. Joining us now to discuss is the CEO of North American digital asset miner Hut 8, Jaime Leverton. Welcome to the show, Jaime.
Thanks so much for having me. Great to be here as always.
Great to have you here. $50 million credit facility from Coinbase Credit. What are your plans for the money?
Yeah, we're very happy to enter into this partnership with Coinbase. We see a ton of opportunity to continue to partner with them in the future. Clearly, a leader in this space, doing really great work for the industry in general. With respect to the loan itself, as you are aware, we're in the middle of a pending merger with US BTC, and there are some costs associated with that, which part of the proceeds will be used for. And really just in general, we like to keep optionality with respect to our balance sheet. As you know, as we're one of the first to hold Bitcoin on our balance sheet and continue to have a very large stack of self-mined Bitcoin. And so again, we really like the optionality that this presents for us.
You just mentioned the merger there. What's the process in the merger with US Bitcoin Corp?
Yeah, so we're still undergoing regulatory approvals. We're quite a way through the process as we continue to disclose along the way. We're still going back and forth with the SEC, and then ultimately will require shareholder approval. But things continue to progress, and we're optimistic that we'll be able to get all approvals over the next few months.
So, looking at this latest acquisition overall, what's your total cost to acquire one Bitcoin? Roughly, what are your costs to do this?
Yeah, so you'd have to look at our last filings. It's not something that we disclose on a day-to-day basis, as I think everybody is aware. Tons of volatility in the market that impacts our price each day, and then of course we continue to track things purely as from a Hut 8 perspective, and US BTC has their own economics that are independent.
But nonetheless, I mean, on average, let's go with the last filing. What was it? I apologize, I didn't go through the 10K or the 10Q this past quarter, so you have to forgive me. But what was your average cost there?
I believe the average cost in US dollars was in the low 20s.
Low 20s.
Cost per mine.
And this acquisition is also they're also in that range, more or less, or higher, lower. What are your averages going to be post?
Again, I can't speak to that at this time, as much as I'm sure everybody would like me to.
And your average cost for energy here, what are you paying?
Yeah, so again, energy markets are very, very volatile. Obviously, a lot of curtailment happening, not just in North America, or not just in Canada, but we're seeing obviously the heat waves in Texas causing increased curtailment, which impacts the US BTC side. But I think one of the things that really differentiates us at Hut 8 and ultimately US BTC as well is a diversified model. So neither one of us entirely dependent on self-mining or prop mining. Both of us have diversified revenue streams, US BTC hosting, and then their managed infrastructure operations. And of course, for us here at Hut 8, we diversified last year with the purchase of our high-performance computing business, which we continue to be very bullish on as things in the market continue to gain momentum around AI and ML, which is one of the reasons that we did diversify and purchase the 5 enterprise data centers across Canada, specifically to drive into some of that convergence narrative in HPC.
I know Jen's definitely going to ask you about the Canada situation there, but before we do, are you selling any crypto right now? Are you selling any Bitcoin right now in this market? Now that you're above 30,000, you're at profit.
Yeah, so we've been public and consistently selling monthly production. We release that data on a monthly basis with our production report. So we're doing ongoing selling of monthly production, but the stack continues to remain above 9,000.
Yeah, Jamie, as Lawrence mentioned, I have to ask you about what's going on in Canada. I remember at the end of last year, had to turn off 8,000 machines at its Ontario facility because of a dispute with Validus. Can you give us any updates on what's going on there?
Yes, we continue to be pursuing our dispute mechanisms with Validus. We did announce last week that we had moved a majority of the machines that had previously been in our North Bay facility to they're moving down to a hosting partner in Texas. So excited to get the bulk of those machines back up and hashing over the next few weeks.
Any indication as to why the dispute has gone on for so long?
Look, I think these things are complicated. Obviously, there are a lot of external forces that have impacted the industry, not just in the mining side, but for power producers as well. And really, we continue to be public in our disclosures around the ongoing litigation. So I can't speak to it more than what we've publicly disclosed.
We showed you a shot earlier. Your stock has doubled in the past, the past year or so? It hasn't been so great for some other miners. Why is that? And what's the difference here?
Yeah, look, not all miners are created equally. I mean, we already touched on the fact that that Hut has a very unique diversification strategy, really being the first and only truly scaled digital asset miner that also has a robust high performance computing division. I think the other thing that we were really conscious about in the last bull market was making sure we continued to take a balance sheet first approach. We took very, very little leverage. We kept our stack unencumbered until this recent credit facility with Coinbase. And I think that's a key differentiator for us, both the diversification strategy as well as having such a robust balance sheet.
You're buying up some of these smaller miners. Do you see yourselves being an acquisition target?
Look, I think we continue to be in growth mode. We're one of the few publics that has successfully closed M&A on with respect to our HPC transaction last year, and obviously in progress with the US BTC merger. I very much see us continuing to drive a growth trajectory, and I think we're uniquely positioned to do so with the strength of the business model that we've built.
Let's talk about that diversification for a moment. I know you have 5 data centers outside of your mining operations. How do you expect to grow that side of the business? What are some of your milestones when it comes to your diversification strategy?
Yeah, that's a business that we're super excited about. We closed that transaction end of January last year. Have really spent the past 12 months getting that business integrated, building out, really modernizing some of the offerings and the facilities, building out some new products that we think are really unique to this market that we play in. Really in the intersection of blockchain and more traditional high performance compute. And then of course the demand profile and the unique requirements we're seeing come out of the AI startup community, I think we're really focused on. And I think we have a unique advantage by being scaled on both sides.
Yeah, Jamie, you and I are actually going to be on stage tomorrow at Collision talking about the intersection of blockchain and Web3. How is AI impacting the mining industry?
Yeah, I would say we're not seeing a direct impact in the mining industry in any meaningful way. Certainly AI is helping with speeding up some cycle times internally with different operations. I think it's really more about the demand profile that we're seeing continue to increase and evolve with respect to data centers and really GPU based scaled cloud or on demand type of workloads.
Do you think we'll see more AI in the mining industry?
I think we're going to continue to see convergence. I think one of the things that's really fascinating for me, we're named Hut 8. I think, as many people know, we're named after the hut where Alan Turing worked during World War II, to ultimately help crack the Enigma code, and that cryptography work that he did formed the basis of what is now blockchain today. But then he went on in 1950 to write a paper, really, that set the foundation for AI as we're now seeing it evolve. He talked about, I believe the name of the paper was Computing Machinery and Intelligence, and he prophesized that one day computer intelligence would be indistinguishable from human intelligence, and that kind of test was referred to as the Turing test, which we actually saw successfully occur a few weeks ago with ChatGPT. They were able to do a test where I believe it was therapists were giving advice to end users, as was ChatGPT, and the ChatGPT advice was 50% more acceptable by the end user than actually the human advice given. So it's fascinating that here we are as Hut 8, a company that's on the leading edge of this kind of convergence narrative between digital assets and HPC, and we're named after the man that really grandfathered the very early days of both of these industries.
Well, we hope we don't all get replaced by ChatGPT. Right?
That is certainly not something.
Anybody in the C-suite you plan on replacing with AI? Who should
Absolutely
be?
Not.
Which employee should be nervous right now?
Nobody should be nervous. I think with the infrastructure that we're sitting on and the team that we have, I think everybody should be very, very excited.
All right. You sure the marketing guy?
The marketing guy is actually a marketing girl.
Same thing.
And I'm sure.
Yeah.
Jaime, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I hope you don't replace any of the C-suite with AI, despite Lawrence's comment.
I want to be replaced by AI. I'm just going to chill out when I'm replaced.
One day.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm not sure it's that easy, but thanks again for having me. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Awesome. See you tomorrow, Jaime. That was the CEO of Hut 8, Jaime Leverton.